what a past like 24, 36 hours for Bitcoin, really ripping.
Yep.
First it was kind of like following whatever pump was happening in Ethereum, but today it's just completely overtaking it as well. So I'm kind of curious what you're seeing in the chart, Ansel.
All right, so let's pull up the next slide, please, is the Bitcoin chart here. This is a 4-hour chart. And I published this on Twitter and then again on my newsletter a couple weeks ago. And that is just showing that back in May, when we had everyone kind of thought this might have been a bottom back in May, and then we went sideways. We had lower lows all along. Then we tried to break out of the red line back pretty much around June 1st. That failed. And then we had a lower high and that sold off. Now, this time we had higher lows, which I think is very important to mention, and higher highs. So this is different fundamentally than the last time we tried to do this. If you go to the next chart, these are just the last 3 times that are very similar. So I drew the line, the red line at the top of the bounce. So bounce off the bottom and then where we got to. And you can see that it failed back at the end of last year. Then it failed in May. But this one looks fundamentally different with higher lows and higher highs. So I do think there is a possibility that this is a fake out, but everything in the market that I'm seeing is showing that this is a real breakout and we could have bottomed for this cycle. Thoughts on that, Christian, before I go on?
Well, can you explain a little bit what you mean by bottomed? Because some people are like, oh, we bottomed and we're going up from here. And often my understanding of we bottomed is, hey, it's probably not gonna go that much lower from here. It might have some spills, but for the most part, we're gonna be consolidating here before finally making it back up.
Yeah. So yeah, by bottom, I mean the low is in. That it is very possible that the low is in and it won't go any lower from here. We might have consolidation, like you say, but this has bottomed and you won't see major capitulation sell-offs anymore. I do watch some of the altcoin saga that's going on, with the liquidations and the bankruptcies and all that stuff from all these Ponzi schemes. And I think that we have moved past the portion where they're liquidating their Bitcoins. We're moved into the lawyer aspect of this. We've moved into the bankruptcies where there's not going to be a lot of liquidations here, forced liquidations in the market. So a lot of these cascade waterfalls that we've seen over the last few months, I think will be much less likely to occur in this environment right now. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Okay, well, I mean, personally for me, I'm not holding my breath. I'm preparing myself to continue to buy chop, continue to buy the blood. But if we boost up from here, I have a lot more Bitcoin than I have USD. Even after the boating accident. So, it's always exciting to see Bitcoin perform, but we're seeing other assets perform as well. So very interested to see how this is kind of tied into maybe Fed expectations or anything else that could be affecting the market.
Yeah, so if we go to the next slide, I know we're ripping through this stuff pretty quick here, but let's go to the next slide. And this is a tweet that I saw from Cuppy on Twitter, and it's showing a chart of cash positions by hedge funds. So at the peaks, it's showing that there is, in their portfolio, they're holding more cash. And it does correspond with market bottoms. So he charted this out all the way back. We are at a local high that goes back to 2001. Their hedge funds have not been more in cash, even during the great financial crisis or anything, all the way back to 2001. And what happens when that reverses, right? When they go out of cash back into the market, we can see a big time rally. He's saying here that it's going to be violent to the upside, and I tend to believe that. I think a lot of people that are talking about Armageddon and there's going to be a 50% sell off in the S&P and all this stuff, I think they're overselling it just a little bit, and it's likely, looking at this chart, that if these hedge funds do roll back into assets, which do include Bitcoin, I think we could see a major market rally here coming up. And if you go to the next slide, this is kind of what it looks like for Bitcoin. This is, I used to call this tether dominance on my newsletter. I haven't tracked this for about a year, but this is the top part of this chart is showing stable coins divided by the total market cap of crypto. That's Bitcoin and altcoins. And you can see that at the tops, when there is a higher, when these stable coins are more dominant, then that's usually marks bottoms in the Bitcoin price. And then when it drops because they rotate out of stable coins back into Bitcoin, we see that the bottoms being local tops. And it very much does coincide with the last chart on cash position. So this is kind of the cash position for the Bitcoin market. And as that rotates back out of the stable coins and back into Bitcoin, we could see a major rally in Bitcoin. So this is just adding to the technical analysis of the chart pattern, saying we have a little bit of a breakout here, and we are in a position where the money can rotate back in to pump the price. So, Christian, any comments on this? I know you're
I
not a
mean,
big
it's
TA guy.
no, but this is the kind of TA I do like, which is like comparing, the market cap of one thing to the market cap of another, and seeing how it makes sense within the market dynamic. So watching this is really interesting. I would love to get the link to this trading view chart here, but it's really it is an excellent kind of like visualization and very interesting to see.
Yeah, this was from Will Clement III on Twitter. I will, of course, link to all this stuff in the show notes.